Hey YouTube, Joyboy here. So got another theory for y'all today. This one is going to be an original theory, I believe. I haven't seen anyone talking about this, but this one could be really potentially game-changing. This one's going to be about Kaido and potentially some events that might happen in the future of One Piece. So let's get this shit started. I built this theory entirely off of one line from Kaido, which is that he says that he's about to start the biggest war this world has ever seen for the last century. Which is really interesting if you think about it, because only 2 years ago there was the Battle of Marineford, in which a Yonko took on the entire Marines, and Kaido is planning something bigger than that, and that is just crazy. So unless the war Kaido is planning on starting is the actual last battle of One Piece, I think that we can expect that this war has to be that Kaido's going to start is going to be greater than Marineford, but less than the final battle of One Piece. And so we have to, I think there's some clues out there that perhaps could give us insight as to what this could be. First of all, we have the Reverie coming up, and I think that it would start a huge war, bigger than even a Yonko versus the Marines, for a Yonko to attack all the kingdoms of the world that are under the world government at the Reverie. This was my first initial thought when I thought of this, what is a war that's bigger than Marineford? It could be that Kaido plans on attacking the Reverie. But after thinking about this for a while, I don't think that this is true. And this is mainly because of one reason. The Reverie is located in Marijoa. And I assume that Luffy is going to be the one to take down Kaido, or at least be present. And so I don't see Luffy going back to Marijoa until the actual final battle. And here we have that Kaido is sort of being set up as it's going to go Big Mom and then Kaido. That's just the way that looks to me. They're going to be heading towards Wano, where Kaido currently occupies that island. So it just doesn't add up for me. I don't think that the Reverie is going to be the war in which Kaido starts. It's going to be something different. So I went and I tried to find some other details that could perhaps clarify, maybe another kind of war that could potentially be starting that, yet again, is still greater than Marineford. And I found something, guys. Alright, so we don't know much about Kaido, but there's currently two things that I find to be really interesting that we know about Kaido that could perhaps insinuate his future plans. And these two facts are this. We know that Kaido has a road poneglyph, and even just owning the road poneglyph gives us insight into two things. First of all, he must know what the road poneglyph is, which is that he must know that the road poneglyph is of importance and will lead him to Raftel if he can find all the various parts. So this is different than picking up any random poneglyph. He didn't pick up any random poneglyph, he picked up a road poneglyph. And the second thing that we know about Kaido that is really interesting is that Kaido is currently, and this is a huge plot point, he's currently chasing the samurai. And why is he chasing the samurai? It's implied that because Odin traveled with Roger to Raftel, that is the reason why he's chasing the samurai. He's looking for knowledge about Raftel, or knowledge about the poneglyphs in general from the Kozuki clan, or something along those lines. There's really no reason to specifically be chasing these samurais other than because of the connection that Odin had with the Roger pirates and their journey to Raftel. So I think that is the reason why that Kaido is looking for the samurai. Also consider that Odin knew how to both write and read the ancient characters that are presented on the poneglyph. I think that would be a really useful skill to have at your disposal if you were looking for knowing what your road poneglyph actually said. So I think that Kaido could be looking for the samurai because of their connection to Odin, and specifically that Momonosuke was his son. So if we put those 2 points together, we get this. Kaido is interested in finding Raftel. And if he's interested in finding Raftel, it supports the idea that he's looking for the One Piece, and overall, he wants to become the Pirate King. I think that Kaido has been a Yonko for a while, and now he's ready to just step up his game and be the best pirate on the sea. And part of that game that involves becoming the best pirate in the sea is making sure that, number one, you obtain everything that you need to find Raptor, which is the other road poneglyphs, and two, you don't let the other Yonko prevent you from getting what you want, which is finding Raptor. And we're going to talk about that, but the first point is that we know that Big Mom also has a road poneglyph. If Kaido, who clearly wants to find Raftel, then at some point he has to take on Big Mom, who also has a road poneglyph. So, what I'm setting up here is Big Mom versus Kaido. But it might not also only be Kaido versus Big Mom. It could also potentially be Kaido versus all of the other Yonko. I think Kaido has been setting himself up. The story has been progressing so that Kaido can make his move to become the best pirate on the sea. And in order to do that, he has to separate himself from the other Yonko, which is why he's been collecting Smile for his crew and bumping up the power of his crew. It could also explain why Big Mom is trying to recruit the services of the Vinsmokes, it seems, form an alliance with them, because she sees this happening and wants to maintain the balance of power. And I think ultimately what this is leading to is when Kaido says he's trying to start the biggest battle of the century, I believe this battle will be the battle for supremacy among the pirates, which is to say that it will be Kaido versus all the other Yonko. At least that is his plan in his head. And I think that there's a lot here to go on for a possible setup for this kind of battle. Because we've seen up to this point, the Yonko have existed and they've had minor clashes, but it's never been all-out war. They sort of brush shoulders and then walk it off. What I'm proposing here is that the time has finally come for a pirate to put himself at the top of the line, become the top dog of all the pirates. And I think that that's what Kaido is trying to do. I think Big Mom is making moves as well to try and counter that, and I think ultimately what we're going to see happen is that Luffy, in the midst of all this conflict, is going to end up on top. I also want to throw in a little bit of extra stuff from another theory that I've had, which stated that I think that Big Mom was going to be an ally. If you haven't checked out that theory, I suggest that you do. I believe that it's a really good theory, and I've gotten some positive feedback from it. But I think that there is evidence out there to suggest that Luffy and Big Mom may become some sort of ally. I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but I think that it's very possible that that could be the case. And you can even see that in the way that it's set up for this Luffy and the Whole Cake Island arc. We see that Luffy's going there with half his crew. There's absolutely no way, unless Big Mom is severely just done. She's like old or weakened or in some way just, like assassinated maybe midway. Like the Straw Hats versus Big Mom is greater. She will win that battle. I mean, I think that supports the idea that the Straw Hats aren't going to Whole Cake Island to defeat her. I think the Straw Hats are going to Whole Cake Island to ally with her. And this would lead up into the Kaido arc, which there's a shift in power balance between the Yonkos, and I think that Big Mom could potentially be an ally in the fight of the Straw Hats versus Kaido. This would also include as well the remaining Whitebeard pirates, and potentially Shanks as well, because Shanks likes to intervene in world-changing events, as we saw during the Ace execution. But yeah, I don't want to get too specific with this. I just want to convey this idea that I had in its simplest terms, because the simpler you go, the more likely it is that you're going to be correct. And from what I've seen that Kaido is really interested in Raftel, and by being interested in Raftel, I think we can assume that he's looking to become the Pirate King. And for that to happen, at some point he would have to put himself above the other pirates, which could mean having to defeat them. And there's also things Kaido seems to be looking for an increase in strength for his crew. And this could all be implying that Kaido is going to fight the other Yonko. And then just to top it off, he says that he's going to try and start the greatest battle of the past century. And given Marineford 2 years ago, then that battle is going to have to be pretty fucking spectacular. So guys, let me know what you think. Tell me if you have anything that you want to add to my theory. Tell me if I've said anything that you disagree with. And as always, comment, subscribe if you like what I'm doing, and have a nice day, everyone.